Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to convert my app into mobile app. The reason is that I want to capture my expenses, and the easy way to capture my expense is using a mobile app. But the thing is that Angular can't be used directly to create a native app. So I would be moving towards a progressive web app, which we'll be discussing shortly. And then we will try to use it within our mobile. So without further ado, let's move to the content first and the slides first, and then we'll be diving deep in the VS. As I mentioned, that I turned my Angular app into a phone app with Claude code. So again, we are focusing using the Claude code without writing a single line or doing any configuration on my own. So what we are going to learn in this video, like by the end, the app install is installed on my phone using a real icon and a full screen work offline. No Play Store yet. So we aren't uploading it on a Play Store. Instead, we are going to the browser and using and creating a uh, progressive web app. So with that, and again, as I mentioned, we are going to use Claude Code. So let's just quickly see what prompts we are going to use. So, and before that, how things are going to work. So app is going to get installed on our phone, as I just mentioned. A real app icon is going to show up and a splash screen is going to show up. And we are using, as our app is a web-based app, so we are going to use a sort of full screen with no browser bar. So it is basically a web app somehow wrapped in a container which is going to be used in our app. So we'll discuss further as we move forward, and still it's going to get deployed via GitHub Pages. So as we are deploying our app using the GitHub Pages, so we will be using the same approach. The main, again, as I just mentioned previously, we are going to use a warm up or a orientation prompt. So what does this is going to do? We are going to say to our app that we are converting this app into a PWA, so I can install it on my phone, and then just suggesting the Claude to read the MD file for our conventions and check angular.json, and our deployment setup we deploy to GitHub Pages. So each and everything I'm instructing Claude to do beforehand. So it's just warm up and it know what it's going to do. So confirm your understanding how we build and deploy before we change anything. Then comes the add Angular progressive web app support. So I'll add basically one more thing, that Angular do support creating like PWA apps. So what I'm suggesting over here, add Angular's official PWA support to the project. Walk me through what it changes. I want to understand the manifest and service worker it add. So not just run a command blindly. So I'm just instructing Claude what to do. And the second prompt that we are going to do, we are trying to set up the branding because we need to have a proper branding. So I'm going to use my company's logo, and we are going to set up the branding, and the app name is going to get changed and the branding is going to be somewhat similar, and I'll be providing a logo to this. So this logo can be used for our expense tracker application. So once we are done with that, what we are going to do, we'll be asking the Claude to make the service worker work on GitHub Pages. Basically, it would be comparatively easy when it's working on local, but when we need to deploy, we need to make sure that it works properly when deployed on the GitHub Pages. So our app, we are explicitly mentioning that our app is going to get deployed to the GitHub Pages from the doc folder with a base ref of our repo name. So make sure the service worker and manifest path work correctly with that base dash href, and PWAs as are sensitive to path configuration. So this is something we are instructing Claude to take care of. So verify the build output in the doc is correct before we deploy. So before any deployment, we are asking this Claude code to verify each and everything. Then comes the build and deploy and install our phone. So build for production, we are suggesting confirm the PWA files are correct in doc. Walk me through the deploying to GitHub, then I'll install it on my phone. So that was the thing. And the last thing is again the Claude.md growth habit. What we have done, once we are done with all things and we have completed our feature, we are going to ask Claude that update the Claude.md with our PWA setup, the manifest location, the service worker config, each and everything. So future sessions know about them, because Claude.md is a basically central repo which is being used by every session on the startup to get updated about how the app is being built. So this is the reason we are always suggesting, first we are doing with the orientation prompt, and in the last we are going with the like this growth habit or finalization prompt, I would say, to create a Claude.md. So let's just move to the VS Code to exercise all this. So let me just move to the VS Code. Okay, so we are here in our VS Code, and you can see that we have created a prompts file. Now we are going to create a new feature, and I would be using a new prompt file. So it's my own practice. You can up to you. It's up to you which practice you want to follow. And I want to say this I want to call this as a PWA.prompt.md. So I'm already in the prompts folder. I'm assuming like this is a PWA creating. I'm going to call this creating PWA.md, and I'll be keeping all the prompts here. And also one more thing, I'm going to do this, like this should be the first one, and I'm going to change this to voice feature, and this is going to be the second. So this can keep this sorted properly. So with this, let me just copy all the prompts here. So I have copied this prompt, and let me just copy the first prompt. I'm going to open a new session. So let me open a new Claude code session. Let me just paste this prompt and see how it works. In the meantime, let's just quickly review. So we are converting this app into a PWA so I can install it on my phone. So we are just instructing the Claude about the feature, what we are doing. Then we are suggesting it to read Claude.md for our conventions and check Angular JSON. And our deployment setup, we deploy to GitHub Pages from the log. So it can plan from the very beginning, keeping that in mind. Confirm your understand how we build and deploy before we change anything. So once I've provided this prompt, you can see like it says I'll investigate. So it have investigated both the package and the Angular JSON, and it have read all these things, like even the expense tracker memory have been read. And then what it's doing, let me check the current project structure. So it have checked the project structure. So let me check the HTML. So it have checked everything which was like relevant to it for the understanding. Then it says, I understand the setup now. Here is the layout. So it's telling us how the app is built and deployed. What it says, Angular version 21, which we are already using. Boost itself is client side only because we aren't using anything from a server side. Then assets come from the public, no service worker today because this service worker is being required for the PWA. So that's why it's mentioned. Deploy to the GitHub. It highlighted these, and which we have mentioned the Claude.md. Then it says live at a project subpath, which we have highlighted. Then comes like memory flag this. So the deploy build must run in PowerShell, not GitHub Bash. So we can see to that. Then the current dot, it tells about that what PWA conversion will not net yet done. So it's suggesting certain thing, add this worker, add a web manifest, haven't changed and want me to proceed instead of allowing it to proceed with its own, because we already have a roadmap for our prompts. So let's just copy the second prompt and let's just instruct it. So let me just add it. And I'm going to say that add Angular's official PWA. So we are like restricting it to use this support to the project. Walk me through it. What changes? I want to understand the benefits and service worker it adds, not just a command blindly. So let's see how it proceeds. So we have provided the second prompt, and with this, now see what result it's going to produce. it's asking me to like run this command. So I'm allowing it. So it took a while and it come up with different results, which we'll be quickly reviewing. So it just says that I have the go ahead and the full picture. Adding official PWA support is ng add angular. So it could have been done manually, but it have used this ng add angular pw/pwa. But you're right that the value is understating what it injects. My plan, run the semantics, then walk you through every single file it touches. So as I've already mentioned, don't go blindly on this. So what it's doing, it's running the PowerShell. Then what it does, it like the schematic misresolved, it fell back to Angular PWA, a previous version. I'm currently using Angular version 21. So it an Angular 12 pre-era, but I have already mentioned that to use the new services and then failed because that old schematic expected the legacy. So what it again does, let me check what version are actually published before forcing one. So then it goes and it find the latest version for PWS 22.00. And that is actually for Angular 22 because Angular 22 is also released, but our app is version 21.2. So it's going to use that. So it doesn't match and probably fell back into the ancient again. So it's going towards a 12.2 version. Then it comes, it again tried the failed run, left nothing behind. Now running the version pin to our this. So this at this point of time, like the schematic succeeded at this time, and it only failed at the final due to the peer like dependency conflict. So with this, let's just see what it eventually comes up with. Installed like Angular spend, and then to 21.2.2 and cost npm to grab the newest version. Whose pair is this exactly conflict? Then it like tries to fix it so it matches the rest of, and let me do that. So what it does actually like ended and at the right version. So at this point of time, it landed on this 21.2.11, the right version. So service worker is now installed. It says that it have used this now installed and pinned. While the runtime like ng service worker dash worker.js present. So again, it's just truncated. These are more of administrative things, but I'm like trying to tell you because you will be able to get, you should be able to get in a habit of like reviewing all these. Apparently, it looks a bit difficult, but once you get into the habit of this, it will save you so much because most of the things have been explained over here and certain things are done in a way which you have never done before. So never ever skip these things. Then come up that it have read these files like this, the one it have created, then the app config and these. Then it again read this manifest dot, we will be discussing it. Then it's done. So what it does it do? What it said, like Angular official PWA support is installed and wired in. Now our app is somewhat a PWA ready. Then it says the file touch the package dash log.json, log the new dependency tree because it needs the exact version. That's why it used that. I will be reviewing that shortly. Then it added the service worker this to the production and then comes the app config. Then within the index.html, it added this link. Then comes the service worker caching config and the web app manifest and public icon files it have created because we are going to use or create those icons. So it have created like certain new, it might have created fake or dummy files, but we will be providing our own. One deviation it's saying worth flagging. So I pinned this to exact this while your other Angular packages use 21.20. That's deliberate. The carried made npm grab this whose pair dependency want this. So it's just telling the technical details of why it picked up particular package. So let's just move forward. Then comes the manifest. So it is telling about the manifest. This is the JSON that tells the phone this website is an installable app. So what actually happens when we browse our app via the browser? So it tells the phone that this app can be installed. So when the browser see this like manifest, link relation or manifest, it reads this to build the home screen icon in the standalone window. So this window is, so you can think of it as a like without address bar sort of browser, which or you can say headless browser in a sense. The name it's identified, so label under the like home icon right now is the lowercase, and we will be improvising on that. Then comes the display, which is going to stand alone launch in its own window with no browser address. That's what I was already saying, it is describing it. Then like it makes it feel like a native app. In actual, this app is not a native app. This is more of a browser app, like web app running in a browser, but actually you are not able to see the browser on your own, and you have an icon to right away click that. Then it provides the start URL, both relative. Then comes the icons. So notably, it's saying it's missing certain things. So it version 1 ships a minimal manifest. So without this, the install specifically fall back to white and default. So then it tells about the service worker. I'm hopeful that I am not going into too much detail, but the reason is that I don't want anyone to just see the code and it's working, but they never grasp what have been done behind the scene. So that's why I'm trying to read everything and try to describe it. Then comes the service worker. So this is the ng service worker dash config.json. So the service worker is a script that sits between the app and the network, caching files so the app loads offline and survive flaky mobile connection. So there are two things. Our app can even run somewhat like native app. It can work offline, but only for our like voice feature, we are not able to use that without internet. So we will see to that. Then comes it's what it's suggesting is the source config. It defines the two cache groups. So one is an app group, then an asset group. So what it's saying at build time production only, the builder reads this config, hash every mesh file and emit a runtime. So I'm not going into that much detail over here, but this is going to be the detail. And the good news from the GitHub like pages subpath deployment. What does it mean? As it knows that our like app is living over here, so it knows that PWAs are sometime like path sensitive and they do break. So that's the reason it's adding certain like manifest related thing inside that. And it the one thing my memory still applies to, it says that the deployment build must run in PowerShell. So this is one caveat is suggesting, because Git bash was somehow in the thing paths based on Windows based path, and on GitHub pages, it might be using a Linux based path. So that was the reason. Then it says the recommended polish not done, your call. So manifest identity. That's because we will in the second prompt, we are going to provide the exact name. So we will be looking into that at that point of time. Then the branded icon. So I'm going to provide one. So let me just go and grab the second one. What I'm going to say, and I would be refining this. So I'm going to say, set up the app manifest with our company branding, and then I'm providing the exact name. Then I'm saying a gold on black theme, which I've been using. You can see right at the back, if you can see my picture, but I'll be showcasing it in a while. Then tell me exactly what icon sizes I need to provide and where they go. So let me just copy the icon first and provide it. So you can find the logo here. And I'm going to copy it with the public assets. So let me just go to the public folder. Let me just, where is it? So you can see brand and the icons. So let me just copy it within the brand. So let me just pull up the logo. Now you can see I have posted or pasted the logo over here, and I'm going to instruct this that you can find the logo over here. So I'm just using @ I'm using, and it is able to find the path. And rather than tell me okay, let it go with this. Otherwise, I could have said it that go and create the icon, but let's see how it behaves on that. And I'm going to do one thing. Let me just copy this and add to our prompt. So our prompt is improvised. So let me just save that. So you can keep saving your prompts on the go, because if you are not saving this, you will not be able to track what you have done. So it's thinking, so let it take the time, its time. So now it have completed its work and we will review it first. So let me just go to that. So as I've provided the logo, so it got the logo, and what it have done, it have trimmed the other pieces out of it because it was requiring certain other like logos of different sizes or different dimensions. So it using, let's just move forward and see. It have generated all 9 size generated from the logo. So okay, now let me rewrite the manifest with the branding. Let's see. Now this is using certain thing. So now index file, add the theme color. So it have identified the theme color and use that. So you can see the theme color content is like something, and then Apple Touch icon is being used over here. Let me verify the generated icon are you actually the gold logo, not corrupted the resize. It's looking into that and it has confirmed. So then it says what I changed. So what it does, one thing which we have highlighted was expense tracker name. It is in caps with the proper like Pascal casing. So you can see expense edit description and this and that. Then comes this index, what it have added. So it have added the theme color over here. Then comes the public icon. So it have generated all the 8 sizes from this file which we have provided. Then what it does exactly which icons to provide and where. So it have identified like this is the legacy icon, and even it's telling the size and is going to be referenced by the manifest. And you can see where it's being used for Android, Chrome, any Windows style, any iPad. So all these are being targeted on different devices. Then moving forward, one honest keyword, what it says, I generated them by downscaling your full logo, which includes the code can. So what it's suggesting, the text became unreadable. So drop these into with this, and what it's saying, like nothing is coming to want me to run a production build and sell. So just the gold, no text. Text belong in the splash note. So let's just quickly see what it's saying. If I just quickly go to this and see what it have created. So you can see it is suggesting to like remove this text. So let me ask it in the next prompt. So what I'm going to do, want me to run, I'm not going to ask it to run anything. I'm going to provide one more thing and we'll see what it does. First, I'm going to paste it, and prior to that, do remove the text from the logo. And what I'm saying further down over here, our apps deployed to GitHub Pages from the docs folder with a base ref, which have already identified, but I'm re-emphasizing. Make sure the service worker path works correctly with this. So because as I've already mentioned, like PWAs are very sensitive to the path, and verify the build. And let me just ask it and see, because I am expecting these are going to be changed. So let's just see how it works and wait for a while. So it have completed. Let me just quickly review what it have done. So as I just mentioned, so two part. First, remove and copy the trade word mark of the logo. So it's going to do that. And so let's just see what it's doing. So it's detected the emblem clearly at center and try to crop that. So it's doing and generating those logo. Let's just quickly see. You can see over here, the text have been removed. So it have iteratively removed the icon. So it have generated the icons based on my provided icon. And then it's moving forward. And what it's doing is trying to clean the build output folder. So that's what needed. At times it have asked permission from me to use the PowerShell, which I've provided. So it have tried and succeeded in the build. what it have provided. Now the critical verification, it's reading certain files, so not much. We already know that. Then comes, it says all the paths are correct, everything verifies. So it have verified the PWA paths, the path center is fully addressed. So what we have mentioned, it have addressed that. What's wrong in the tree now? So it's flattened, like all state chunks cleared. So what's in the working tree, these icons have been created, the manifest is being there. So two things before you deploy. One is suggesting you are on this. So as per GitHub serves docs from the main, so this only lives once it lands on main. Nothing to fix, just flagging. So it have identified even the branch. I am very much aware that I'm using a different branch and it is going to work only on the main. Then comes the definitive runtime test. The service can be exercised locally without serving under expense tracker. So it says that it have to an extent verified, but unless and until I deploy it, so I can do this. So I haven't committed. Want me to set up the local subpath to serve, watch the SE register, or leave it here for you to handle the merge. I'll handle it on my own. So I'm saying I'll handle it on my own. Do reply briefly. I don't want it to answer much. So I'll do it on my own and let's see. It shouldn't take, yeah, okay. At least it says sound good, everything verified. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to see what's being there and what files I need to add. So what it have been changed, it have added a service worker over here in the Angular JSON, nothing else. I'm going to add this. This is a modified version. And what else? So let me just, so then comes a untracked file. This is ng sw-config JSON. So JSON is there. This is more of a configuration. We are not going to get into detail. Then comes the package log because it is going to like highlight the exact version which was working. So if we are going to use it somewhere, this package log JSON is going to help us, or this npm manager, to get this exact like package. So I'm adding that within the package JSON. Exactly, it have identified that as well. The third party licenses like are there. So let me just add this, or I'll just skip that. I'm not going to add these chunks in the code over here in this branch because I will be switching to the main branch first. So I'll be skipping that part. And what I'm going to do, this index.html, I'll be looking over here. You can see this manifest have been like added in the link, and Apple Touch icon has been added. And you can see these enable JavaScript. Even it see that in case if the no script is there, it is asking that. So I'm going to add that over here as well. Not doing anything related to these because these are the chunks. And one thing, rather than going this way, I can do, so I do not accidentally use or push something. So let me just close this as well. Within the source, there used to be a dist folder. Let me just remove this browse folder. So let me just delete this. I don't want these files. Let me just keep this, even this pre-rendered. So I'm not going to use this either. So with this being done, I hope these files are going to get removed, but for some reason, it's not getting. So let me just try refreshing it. Okay. Don't know why that is still showing up. Okay, we'll see to that later. But at least, okay, these files have been deleted. It shows that it have been like deleted. So if I can somehow go to that, okay, leave it. We will see to that. Logo, I want these to be added and these icons to be added. So let me add those all. Then comes this like safe. It have added these JS file, and you can see this have been added. And let's just quickly see the location where it have added that. So in the docs, it have added that. Let me just leave it that there. And what else? Prompts needs to be modified and added. So I'm adding those. and the manifest files, index.html, and the configuration itself have been modified, and all these logos needs to be added as well. So what else? Even the manifest needs to be added. Let me just go and see. So what else I can do? Let me just do one thing. Let me try removing certain things. So at least I can get that remove command exactly. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. Let me just see if it can. It doesn't exist. So let me just remove the docs folder as well. If I can, let me just type that in. Cannot find the docs. It was a docs folder. So with this, I anticipate these all deleted files have been removed. What else? Let me see. Within the dist, this doc have been removed. It is going to take a while, so don't worry. I'm going to refresh again. So everything within the doc have been deleted, and I don't want that deleted to stay here. So let me just try removing this unstaged because that have been accidentally staged. Over here, these deleted changes needs to be removed as well. So what I'm saying, discard these changes. So let's just discard the changes. So changes have been discarded. So what we have left with us now, this app config.ts, which do have a service worker, all those logos and icons, then the index file with the change, the prompts, the manifest, logo itself, the package JSON, and Angular. So let's just, so everything have been staged. So nothing is remaining, everything is staged. So let me just say, so what we have done over here, created a PW app. So let me just create an, so let me create a PR and merge all these on the main. So we have this on the main. So you can see I'm here on my branch. I'm going to create a pull request. Let me just merge schedule branch into main. So let me just try merging that. Let me just create the pull request. I'm just showing it to you guys who are not aware of creating this pull request. So because this feature branch has been created from the main, so there is no conflict. So I'm going to merge this and I'm going to confirm the merge. And then I'm going to quickly show you how I'm going to pull it. So with this being done, let me just open the terminal. So I'm going to use git pull and you'll see certain things have been pulled. Let me just git checkout main and let me just clear it up. And let me type git pull. You can see all these changes like this configuration file and the prompt and the this and that have been pulled. And where we are right now, we are, let me just show you git branch. So you can see I am on the main branch. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to build here in the main branch, and either instead of doing on my own, let me do or ask Claude to do it. Okay, let me just ask. Rather than asking it, let me do it on my own. Okay, so I can show you the commands as well. So let me just pull the command over here. So you can see engine build and what I'm doing using the docs. So let's just try building and see if it builds correctly or not. So you can see it have been built. So with this build, you can see within the dist, I have this expense tracker and not just, okay, not dist. Over here in the docs, I have a browser folder. What I need to do, I need to pull everything from the browser and move it to the docs because this is the requirement for the GitHub pages. So let me just use the copy command. I do have it. Let me just pull it. I can even use it from the like Claude.md where I've put. So let me just try copying it. So you can see I'm pulling everything from the browser and then everything have been pulled over here. So there is no need for the like browser one. So let me just remove doc/browser. So it has been removed. So you can see the build is there and everything is over here. So let me just try pushing it on the main branch, nothing else being required. So let me just say that a build, like build for PWA created. So let me just try committing and pushing it to the main. So I'm going to stage everything and then going to pull everything, sorry, push on this main. And with this, let's just go to our GitHub repo. So here is my repo, and you can see this is in the pending state. I'm going to open this and let's see what actually happens. Let me just try doing it. It's still taking some time. It's pending as of now. So still I can't see anything. So let's see. Okay, so let me quickly show you that I have just hit the URL and you can see there is an install button. Even I am using Windows, so let me try installing it and it's going to, you can see the icon is there. And once I'm going to install it, so what does it do? It have created a progressive app over here and I can pin to the taskbar. So you can see, let me just quickly show you. If let's say I just closed it, even there is no Chrome browser or anything, even a link or icon is here. Let's just click it and let's try logging in, admin and password. And let's just save it. And let me going to add, spend 100 rupees on chips. So you can see I've created using the previous command, which I've created. Let me just save that expense. So I'm very hopeful that you guys are able to like see that I've created a progressive web app without writing and doing a single line of configuration on my own. I've simply created it using the Claude code, using certain prompts, which I've pushed on my repo. You can see I'm going to create a short as well to showcase it, how it's working on my mobile. If you like the video, so feel free to like and subscribe the channel. I'll keep posting all these happening in the AI. My prime target is Angular, but I'll be focusing on other frameworks soon, especially .NET first, and then I'll keep improvising. So if you want to improvise on your like coding skills as well as AI driven or AI assisted skills, feel free to like and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.